Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 31 entitled coaching. Well, this is the key 11 regarding our, let's say, series entitled practice. What is coaching? So first of all, we're going to define it. Secondly, we'll see the scope, the fields of application. Third, some different techniques, the methodology. And last, we will have some advice, some tips. So let's start with the concept. What is concretely coaching? Coaching refers to necessarily the notion of training, and the coach actually is double effect because the coach is someone helping someone else, okay? But the objective, by giving you some tips regarding this video, is that you become your own coach, okay? So it's coaching of life or life coaching, but actually it means everything and nothing. A coach can be for sport, can be for organization, for career, for let's say couple, for friendship, self-confidence, and so on and so forth. Okay, so is a little bit like the term audit. An audit, you can have an audit, financial audit, managerial audits, organizational audits, financial audit, and so on and so forth. Okay, so an audit is just a statement, basically. So coaching is basically is the principle of Greek philosophy, more than 2 millenniums. Okay, so it is maieutics, okay, from Socrates. Okay, his mother was a midwife. Okay, so this is concretely the art to help people to give birth to themselves. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that you give different keys for the people to open up the door of themselves. Okay, so basically it is just helping them to express themselves, to find themselves, whatever the terminology. Okay, so to be frank with you, I started to have some training of coursing almost 10 years ago, and frankly speaking, I didn't learn almost anything. Why? It's not pretentious when I say that. It's just because for me it was common sense. Okay, it was a little bit obvious, natural. And when I say that, it's not to pretend and to, no, it's because it was something that I see through different other perspectives. That's why this video is important. It's because it shows typically the transdisciplinarity, the holistic approach, showing that everything is interconnected and entangled. I saw that through strategy, project management, creativity, and so on and so forth. So you can apply this methodology for, personal use, for professional, and for personal dimension. Okay, so concretely, it's an application of the middle path, the middle way. Okay, a good balance in between your personal life and your professional life. Okay, if you are completely too much in your work and you, let's say, you don't have balance of private life, no friends, you don't enjoy life, you don't have center of interest, and so on, you are like this. Okay, so you're not balanced. You know, as a recruiter, and what is the more and more the trend for HR dimension, HR department, human resources, is to perceive, to try to decipher, to perceive the different soft skills. Soft skills, what is it? The capacity of working together, the mindset, the fact to be positive, easygoing, and so on and so forth. Okay, and also it is soft skills is, for example, the fact to differentiate. Okay, the fact, for instance, to, I don't know, you have a patient and you did you did a website about bicycle. Okay, this is something it's interesting to show and to explain when you are in an interview and so on. Okay, so these are skills, soft skills. Okay, so concretely, the goal of coaching is just the people, they reveal themselves. I'm deeply convinced that there is a treasure within anybody, okay? And that's why I choose also this orientation, because I want to help also at my own scale people more in that trend. It's really a waste, it's wastage to consider that some people are extremely smart, but the society did not perceive the talents. I give you one of them. Einstein was seen as dyslexic, and he was almost kicked out from school. Okay, so imagine this genius. So what does it mean? It means that if he didn't go through it, we would have lacked this great brain. Okay, so whatever the corporation, whatever the talent and so on, art and craft, more technical, manual and so on, we need every type. You know, we are aware now of the fact most of people in a process of awakening, because this is down to earth awakening, okay? So we are invited to rebuild all together the new world, okay? The new era, the new paradigm. It's up to us. It's not coming from the clouds, it's not coming from the government and so on. There is not an Eldorado in a world and so on. It's up to us. Be the change that you want to see in the world, as Gandhi said. This is extremely important to try to make it possible. And actually, the fact to manage your life is really self-discipline and is a state of mind as well. This is important. Life coaching is not necessarily to show off and to say to try to be in your career and to show off and to say, okay, look at how successful I am. And not at all. Not at all. You can be, you know, some people have some abilities for high tech or for cuisine, for sewing and so on. Okay, that's fair enough. It means that personally, I need this kind of people. I am very bad at technology. Okay, so everybody is a component of an ecosystem, of a type of watch, you know, and individually we are producing the collective consciousness. Okay, so this is important to, as we repeat, find the place which is already yours in this cosmic breath. Okay, so it is Vedanta, the Indian philosophy, but concretely is that. And another cultural reference, as Confucius say, find a job that you like and you will never have to work a single day. So what does it mean? It means that if you find what you like, what you vibrate within yourself, okay, it's not a job anymore. It is like a passion. It is like something, time is flying. You don't count the time. You can work on night sometimes. You can work without being a workaholic, not that. But at least you are fulfilled. You are fulfilled in your work. You are fulfilled in your personal life. That's why this is the notion of helping people to find themselves through the coaching. And once again, it can be sport coaching, it can be project coaching, it can be whatever, okay? But in this moment of the transition from probably old world to the new world, we need to build it individually. And it means that all the department, all the, let's say, the chapter of the great book of life have to be revised, okay? Economy, education, and so on so far. So we can already do it. We are doing it in Bali, for instance. I told you we are building a new type of school, of teaching. We have a program and so on. We are building a community, okay? Economically, ecologically, eco-friendly, also with permaculture and so on, a kind of self-organization, not to be completely as a sect, of course, and out of the system, but just to say, okay, we don't want this society like this with pollution, with lawless people, and the money is managing. No, we want to rebuild what we consider it vibrates according to our expectation. There is no proselytism. we are building. We are not waiting for the permission for anybody, any subvention, allowance, and so on. We do. And we will be probably at the beginning 20, 30, 100 maximum. And then we will put online just to help people for those as benchmark. We just want to be inspired with that, to have some help, some tips. And then we adjust on it. It's not you have to do that in a process of awakening. I'm just trying to tell you that awakening, there is no limits. It's the fact to undertake. That's why my wish, my dream is to arouse, to launch a kind of momentum regarding three things I said already: lucidity, optimism, and also pragmatism. Pragmatism is real concrete project. You know, everything you do in your life, whatever life in general, is initiated through a will, a tree, anything, an association, a company, friendship, a couple, and so on. A couple, she wants, he doesn't want. He does want, she doesn't want. It doesn't work, okay? Both mutually has to be on the same page, on the same, let's say, on the same track, okay? So this is important to have, to desire something, okay? So this is actually, the objective is to awaken, okay? Globally speaking, and to be fulfilled at all, let's say, dimension, professional, personal. Also, to have an holistic approach, okay, global approach, overall approach. And last, this is just the practice of the middle way. Well, the techniques, which is a complete methodology, I can split up in 7 different points, okay? The first one is a type of audit, a diagnosis, a statement. Where are you from? In the sense that know thyself and you will know the secret of the universe and God. Okay, this is the philosophy in ancient Greek in Delphi. Okay, so this is important, this introspection. This is what we saw previously in the other videos. But let's say here concretely it is to check and to solve the problems you had from childhood, trauma, fears, anxiety, all this kind of thing. You work on it, okay? It is one thing. To, let's say, to value your hygiene of life. If you eat only junk food, you don't do sport, you watch only, you sleep bad, you take drugs, you drink too much alcohol and so on. Don't be surprised that you're depressed and your degree of vibration is really low. And the process of awakening is this. Just to destroy your body is not respectful for the process of life. It's alone what you receive, all right? So if you want to honor life and to marvel at life, it's better to be respectful in the process of life. So, but what I try to tell you that everything is linked. You cannot be, I told you, spirituality is spiritus. Spiritus in Latin means spirit, right? It means that everything you do can be spiritual. It's not, let's say, limited to a temple and then, okay, I pray, and then I'm just, sorry to say that, but I'm awful with people. I don't respect people. I judge them all the time. I want to battle. I mean, is this that we want as supposed to be awakened person? Is not the cumulative dimension is not because you have a lot of knowledge regarding all the religion, all the spirituality, that necessarily you will be awakened. Okay, some people, because this is the capacity of heart and consciousness, empathy, compassion, and so on is linked. Okay, if otherwise it is spiritual ego. Okay, but what I want to tell you that there is no dissociation in between the temple and the rest of life. Contemplates. Okay, the contemplation is to open up the inner temple through your eyes. Okay, the beauty is in the eyes of those who can see it. Okay, so this is extremely important. So the methodology is that the diagnosis, that's to say, to identify your problem, to solve them, to clean them up, to see your hygiene, to have some corrective actions, and then to analyze your personality, the different masks regarding your education, your parents, the society, and so on. Your character, your mood, and so on. You are more outgoing, you are more shy, and so on. All this kind of thing is not good, bad. It is what you are. You are shy, you are suffering of being shy. Okay, let's try to take some coach to have some more charisma, self-development, self-insurance, assurance, and so on. The fact to be do some theater, okay, this kind of thing, some performance with audience and so on, this kind of thing. But if you are shy and you like to be shy because you like to have a distance, it's fair enough. It's not try to pretend to be someone else, to be an actor. It's just to be the famous I am, okay? It means that vibrating with your deep aspiration, not of your ego, but of your higher self. And once you reach that threshold, this point, you can, let's say, express life, express, let's say, the living. Well, then also what is important is to define your center, second part, of interests. Okay, you did a diagnosis, who you are and so on, your skills, your weaknesses, and what do you want concretely? What's your center of interest? What do you like? Okay, there is no favorable win for those who don't know where they go. Okay, it's Seneca. It's true. If you just run, and you don't have any destination, what's the point? If you kick in the ball and you don't know that soccer is to kick in the goal of the adversary, it's useless. Okay, it's the same. If you don't have any goal, so center of interest, what you like concretely, not what people want for you, but what you deeply like, what you are good at, and in parallel, so your skills and what you like. This is interesting because then we will see, according to that, if you need to be trained or not. Okay, so then to define third, a purpose. Okay, what we want, what you want concretely, what's your mission of life, okay? What is your reason for being, okay? Your reason for being, personally I have one, which is double face, but why are you on this planet? Some people will say, I didn't ask anything. Yes, you did, because you came here, you had a battle, you won already the lucky draw with the battle with the other spermatozoa. So yes, you wanted to come here, okay? There is an initial unconscious will from your side, okay? So why are you on this planet? Okay, this is key important question, okay? It has to be your polar star, okay? It can be simple, it can be just to be happy, to be in harmony, or to share, or to have a family, whatever you want, but it is just for you, it's important to visualize that. Then, more precisely, what are your objectives? This is important. Objective, you need to have thousands of objectives. Objective, usually 3, 4, 5, maximum 10, if it's already a lot, but 5 is already good, okay? You define, and quantitatively and qualitatively. Quantitatively, how many kids you want, okay? If it's your objective, I want some kids to build a family, okay, how many kids? A team of soccer or hockey, you want only one, and so on, up to you, but define that, okay? You want a new job with a certain comfort, salary, and so on. How much? Okay. Which type of new job you want? Define precisely. Which type of mission you want? What is the context you are expecting? Okay. So this is qualitative. Okay. Quantitative, and then qualitative means this is subjective. It means I want to be happy. But actually it doesn't mean anything because your happiness is different of mine because the expectations are up to anybody. So it's completely personal. You know, happiness is not necessarily to get, to reach what you want, but to be satisfied with what you have. So in a certain extent, if you don't have high expectation, you have more chance to be satisfied and to be happy in your life. Here in Bali, which is emerging country, as a matter of fact, I see a lot of happiness. I went almost 30 times in India, which is quite the same developing country. There is poverty, as a matter of fact. I saw a lot of happiness. I saw a lot of happiness in Ethiopia, in Uzbekistan, in Kazakhstan, in Iran, in many countries for which the conditions are not super easy. Okay? And sometimes in certain Western countries, one of them that I know quite well, writers say this is the paradise where people think they are in hell. Okay? So imagine, and you can imagine with my accent, where this country is from. Okay, so you understand my perception. It means that it's according to your own philosophy and your own objective. It's not, don't pretend to be this because your parents want and so on, okay? Do for yourself. You want to be an artist, be an artist. It doesn't mean that you are blind and you're stupid by following necessarily only your passion and you don't care and you're selfish, you don't care about your family and so on. It's not that. It means that you want to be an artist, be an artist. Okay, you want to be a professional singer, okay, do a statement. If you sing, I mean, your voice is not correct, okay, you can have some training, you can adjust, maybe. If even with that it doesn't work, okay, maybe change, or at least be in backstage, or at least, I don't know, maybe just do it for pleasure. You can do it, do your own concert and so on, or you can do it step by step. If you are good at this, okay, you can continue to have your work to eat. Huh? We don't can nourish ourselves through prana necessarily. Breatharianism initially, not yet. Okay, it's possible, but not everybody. Okay, so more practically, this is important to visualize what you are good and what's how to handle things. So your objective and also when, the timeline. The timeline means, you know, in strategy, and for this, because this is your strategy of life, short term means from now to 6 months. 6 months to 2 years is midterm, and 2 years to 5 years is long-term, long-term vision, okay? And then very long-term vision is over 5 years. So what does it mean? You don't like your job. Okay, is something. Okay, you will handle a transition. Okay, so you're gonna train, you have some special session, tuto, online training, everything is possible, and thanks to internet nowadays you have a lot of free access. Okay, so you just have a timeline and you say, okay, I give myself as a motivation 6 months. Okay, first I train myself, and then self-training, self-coaching, and then from 6 to 2 I will have a new job for which I will be employee for a shop of naturopathia, for instance, or I don't know, permaculture and so on and so forth. And then you expect in 2 years to go abroad in another country, in Costa Rica, in Sri Lanka, wherever, or in the middle of nowhere, in the Wisconsin, or I don't know, in the middle of Australia, or whatever, even if it's your own country. But you just want to be out of the system after a while, and you will have the knowledge that you had from your transition, from your experience that you had in the shop and so on, herboristery and so on, and so forth. Okay, so this is a kind of strategy with a timeline. This is important. And second point with the when is to have deadline. I'm gonna give you a simple example. Da Vinci, okay, Da Vinci, Mona Lisa, he finished it when he died, when he passed away. What does it mean? And after 20 years, if he would have lived 10 more years, you can be sure that he would have spent 30 years on this painting and 40 years according to his lifespan, okay? Maybe he was very good after 1 year, after 6 months, okay? But he was perfectionist, so he spent 20 years. It was his expectation, it was his strategy, his philosophy. Yeah, that's fair enough. Personally, I don't do anything excellence. I do a lot of things good, only good, not very good, good, and it's already good for me, okay? I prefer only good or average plus plus than nothing perfect. You understand the point? And a lot of people are expecting amazing results, and in that case, they always procrastinate. They always postpone. Okay, so this is important also to have a timeline and to say, okay, I want a transition, I want to do a diet, when, how long does it, or to reach, I don't know, I want, because you saw with a nutritionist, or you saw you want to lose 5 kilos, when? Okay, over 5 years, or I give myself 5 weeks, okay? And then if you don't stick, it's not a big deal. You can just adjust after. But at least it's a source of motivation. So the timeline is important. The notion of the frame of time as well, okay? So then, of course, fourth chapter, chapter 4 is, in a certain extent, is the methodology, the strategy. How you're gonna do, okay? What are the action plan to reach your objective? You define your objectives, that's great. You have your target, then how are you gonna do? With a gun, with a, you know, it's up to you. But you can reach a point, okay, you have one point A, one point B, you have different means of transportation, by plane, by boats, by running, by driving with a motorbike, and so on and so forth, okay? So it's really this to define. So this is important to have different ways. You can be helped as well, but to define a kind of strategy. So first, you visualize your skills, your competencies, if it's enough or not, if you can improve your weaknesses as well, and how to train, for instance. From there, to see the different circuits or channels, okay, the approach, okay, if you have a project, how to reach this type of this audience, how to reach this type of network, environment, and so on and so forth, okay? Like the different actors, how is the orchestration of this market, this typology that you are targeting, and so on and so forth. It's not only for company, I told you, it can be for an association, for charity association, for any type of project, okay? A show, artistical dimension, and so on and so forth, okay? So, but to see in the approach how to cope with people, the type of profile of people, the age, and so on and so forth, okay? And also, very important is to have some backup, plan B, plan C, plan 3, okay? It's like when you have a roadmap and you want to go to a certain city for vacation, and you plan to take 6 hours, and you have hazards. It's happened, a strike, an accident, the road is, there is work in progress, okay, so it's cut, you have to find another way, okay? You have a wall, okay, what to do? Oh, or you try to put a bomb and to explode, you jump, you take a fly, you try to find another way, you dig, and so on. There is many solutions for everything, but it's important to anticipate this, because it's happened that it doesn't work as we want. And that's why it's important also to have backup, not to be destabilized because something didn't happen as we want. If you're a sailor, you know that everything depends on the wind, and you just adjust according to the reality. Okay, we have wind at this same moment I'm talking, synchronicity. Okay, so you orientate according to that. Okay, it's just a question of adaptation and also anticipation. So this is the principle. You know, in my work, in my company, so in different companies, but the one in Shanghai for CEO of textiles, so we design, we produce, we export. This is one of my occupation in parallel of the well-being center we have here, coaching of life, all this kind of thing, teaching also for business school, for fashion school, and also for personal developments here in the orphanage of Bali, for instance, or in charity for other bodies, corporation, I mean organization, charity organization. Concretely, actually all this is for my company in China. Most of the time I'm CEO, I say my title should be problem manager. Why? We are organized, we have anticipation, we have preventive, curative, but most of every day I have a problem. Okay, and I'm not stressed all the time saying, oh, a problem, okay, I don't have the solution now, okay, that's not a big deal. We're gonna sleep on it, and tomorrow we will find a solution. We brainstorming, we will have another way to approach, and so on. So it's not a big deal. As long as you have a capacity to bounce, Okay, there is no problems. There is only pending solution. Keep this in mind, is extremely important. Then it's important as well, chapter 5, to analyze a result. Okay, you have a forecast. What's the results? Okay, you expect to did 100, for example, and you did 90. Are you satisfied with that? Yeah, it's fair enough. 110, that's good. Okay, very good. Better than what you expected. Okay, so you did good. Do you want to do excellent? Yes, no. No, I'm all right like this. Okay, that's fair enough. I don't want to invest more time. I want to have a spare time. I want to be part-time for my job and so on. No need more. Okay, I have my... I had a client like this. Do you want to develop more business? Oh, no, 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 I don't want to work more. You know, yeah, I was satisfied with that. So you want to do very good and you did good. Okay, so that's pretty good. But you're not completely satisfied, completely fully fulfilled. So see how you can still improve. You did wrong according to the results, according to your perception. What are, next step, 6.1, corrective actions. What are the corrective actions? How to improve? How you can bounce back, okay? One thing that I already mentioned, you know that before being able to walk, you need to fall down 2,000 times. And as I know, I don't know any kids who said, arriving at half of the path, like 1,000 times they fall down, and they say, Daddy, I'm really not down. I don't feel it. I think I'm gonna just slug all my life and I will not walk. Okay, nobody said that, right? So it's a question of finding your balance. Okay, so you fall down and you wake up, and you fall down and you adjust. Edison did wrong his experience 2,000 times as well. Okay, to find a proper way for having electricity. Okay, and I can quote more than 20 very famous people who started with failure, supposed to be failure. And this is what we call in resilience, in mechanic, but also in strategy, in production, also in management. Resilience is you analyze why the crash test, why it's failed, and how to improve afterwards. And just a question of fine-tuning, okay? Then last stage, the seventh chapter, the chapter 7, is concretely next step, okay? This is to have a proactive dimension, that's to say, to be a co-creator. What's next step? You're satisfied, fair enough. How to maintain it, in that case, how to have a maintenance of it, to be stable and sustainable for the long term. This is one thing. Or also, if you want to develop and to increase the scope of your project, for instance. Okay, so what is next step? I can give you some different tips, so 10 of them. The success, and once again, the definition of success is not necessarily to have materialistic success, it's just according to your objective and the definition. But the fruit of success, according to me and my experience, is a question of state of mind and discipline. Discipline doesn't mean say, yes, sir, yes, sir. It is self-discipline. You wake up the morning, you are investing in it. You know yourself as well. It means that you feel tired, no need to force yourself at this moment. But you have a good balance, you good manage. You need a break, okay, go to run, go to do sport, go to have an exhibition, go to whatever, okay. But try to have a good balance, and to a certain disciplines means a regularity, for example. All what we saw in terms of key before is that discipline. The fact to have a good hygiene of life, a bit of sport, meditation, good food, and so on. This is part of the discipline, sleeping well, and so on, okay? So this is important. Then the success also is the fruit of organization, strategy, investment. Okay, yeah, we learn. Okay, we learn by experience, we learn by people, by tutor, by exercise, and so on. It's not necessarily built in. Okay, so this is important also to keep this in mind. To have objective and clear objective and clear methodology. Okay, you know where you go. Okay. We feel it. Those who have the mind is really sharp, they have insights, and this is clear. And definitely people prefer to follow this type of people, because also if it's confused in your mind, you cannot reformulate, explain your project and so on, it's difficult that people follow you or support you financially speaking, effectively speaking, and so on. Your relatives, the banks, if you need some investors, some partners, and so on. So this is important also to write on paper. Personally, to write on paper to let's say to put your mind with a structure, okay? And this is another example. I really invite you to have to-do list. A to-do list allows you to put on paper every morning, just 2 or 3 minutes, you spend that, and you say, okay, I will do that. And on nights, you can, do that. Like this, you can say, it's done. Or this is not done, it's not a big deal. Okay, I will do tomorrow. But at least you see yourself evolved. It's like when you run a marathon and so on, it's important to keep your motivation. So even for football, for instance, World Cup, why big team like Germany, Argentina, or I don't know, Italy, England, and so on, most of the time before the World Cup, they just have 2 or 3 match, friendly match with very small team like Liechtenstein, or I don't know, not super excellent team, and they win most of the time 7-0, 8-0, and so on, just to feel confidence. So try to do things that you see yourself evolving. If you have 10 open folder, and you just do a little bit, you don't see yourself evolving. Okay, it's like you want to clean your big house, and you have 6, 7 rooms, and you do a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. And after 2 hours, you say, I don't see the end. But yeah, if you finish one, you know that it is done. A second one, done, and so on. So this is good as well to manage yourself for to keep your degree of motivation. Okay, this is also important not to be affected by semi-failure. Okay, people who criticize, who laugh, and so on. We say in French, criticizing is easy, art is more difficult. Okay, it's easy to say to laugh, or to say oh, this is shit, or this. Okay. What do you propose? What's your idea? And so on. Okay, is another story. Okay, so it's easier not to make mistake when we don't do anything. Okay, so a word to the wise. Okay, and indeed, even if we want to build a new word, it will be difficult. We will have to adjust and so on. Okay, locally and so on. Maybe it's not perfect, but we try our best. This is important. The intention, and when it's pure, usually it's you necessarily have something that you feel satisfied to try your best, even if it's not successful normally. But it's like you lost in final, and you just say, I did my best. They were definitely better than me. It's already good to reach final. That's it. And this is very good to already being satisfied to be I don't know. To arrive, to finish just the race. For example, the marathon, if you finish it, it's already congratulations. I did half marathon, but I cannot do a full one. Okay, those who can finish, and even if it's 6 hours, 7 hours, congratulations, I'm not able, you see? So this is, according to me, important. Don't procrastinate, don't postpone all the time. Try to be fixed on a certain deadline for your project. If it's exceed 1 week and so on, it's not a big deal. But at least to try to be motivated with that. This is important also to take the leadership. You have a project implying other people. Okay, you are motivated for yourself. Okay, it means that okay, we discussed to go for fishing and so on. You propose to your friend, and he say, oh no, I'm tired. Okay, well, next week. Okay, and then next week and so on. And you push until you obtain it. Okay, this is also important to be naturally inspired. Okay, and like this you will be inspiring for people. And this is the notion of let's say when you affect people, okay, so you have something by return. I give you an example. You are 100% of full in terms of battery. You're super motivated, you are very happy and so on. Everything is perfect. And a friend of you needs your help because he feels very down, low battery, is at 20%, mindset, because he has been fired, he lost his girlfriend and so on. Okay, normally we think that if we invest energy and we transmit good energy, we try to help and so on, normally he's at 20%. If I'm at 100 and I help him to give some energy, he will be maybe at 60%, and normally we can consider that I took 40% of my quota. Not at all. You will be still at the same and even more. Why? Because you have a kind of return on investments. The fact to feel useful is what we call oxytocin. Oxytocin is one of the 4 hormones of happiness. Is the fact to belong to something higher than your only small self, and like when you do association, charity and so on, and you really have the feeling like people say, oh, you changed my life, oh, it's amazing, you really brought me and so on, and you did for free. And then you have this satisfaction, and this is oxytocin. Oxytocin brings you DMT. DMT is a very powerful drug, okay, but it's natural. And it's the same hormones, oxytocin, than the sexual orgasm, okay, the sexual climax, okay. So imagine, so this is also important to be inspired and to inspire people. Like this, it's like, there is a mutual effect. Last advice is important also to have some mentors, some people who motivate you. Okay, they can be famous or unfamous, can be amongst your relatives, and you admire because it's a kind of benchmark. This is what we call PNL. Okay, this is linguistic neuronal programmation. Concretely, what is it? It is the fact to analyze. This is based on the philosophy of Lao Tzu, the father of Tao Te Ching, who said, if you don't know the roads, observe those who are coming from. Okay, so is successful. The cake is good. Okay, try to analyze the recipe. Try to analyze the way of cooking. Okay, the gesture and so on, so far. Okay, the orchestration, which moment, the timing, and so on. So it's working for him. Why? What's the key factor of success? Analyze this with this guy, with this woman, and so on and so forth. And then you combine the different key factors of success, and usually, if you apply it, you have more chances that it's work for you. You can just adjust, of course, fine-tuning. But this is exactly benchmark. Okay, so this is important also for your state of mind, and to realize that even there is more than 20, let's say, very successful people: Michael Jordan, Einstein, Oprah, who else? Tesla, Steve Jobs, and so on. They failed. All of them, they failed. Okay, all of them fall down 2,000 times in their life. So keep this in mind. I've been fired when I was 30 years old, and now I'm very grateful for this opportunity, the fact that I bounced back to where I am now, and everything was useful. Okay, you have been cheated, you have been, I don't know, she left you and so on, or he left you and so on. Okay, and now if you have the proper person, or maybe it was not the correct one. It was not the good match. If mutually they are not, it means that someone else. What you're looking for, what you seek, is seeking you. This is from Rumi. Rumi is a Sufi mystic. Okay, so please keep this in mind. Try to experience the different techniques and to apply in your daily life, and to see the evolution and the improvement and so on. But keep this in mind. The success is according to the discipline and the mindset. Well, this is one key among a lot of them. It's up to you to shape your master key to open up the door of consciousness. All the roads lead to Rome and to Rome. Thank you for your attention, and see you very soon.